Hey, welcome to the Higher Ed AV podcast. My name is Joe Way, and I am your host. Boy, do we have a good one for you today. I'm really excited about this one because we are, like all athletic conferences should be, going coast to coast. Yeah, I don't know how UCLA and Ohio State end up in the same conference. I think people are still trying to figure that out. But we have a great conversation because we're going to get to it later. I don't want to spoil it, but Stephanie and I are kind of, I don't know, is it a committee? Is it something? I don't know what it is that we're on together. And that's kind of how we've kind of just been chatting and stuff, and I wanted to bring on and talk more about that. But before we get into that, we probably should have people know who you are and what you do. Stephanie, please, welcome to the show. Please tell people who you are.
Well, thanks so much, Joe. My name's Stephanie Orr. I'm the Director of Learning and Collaborative Environments at The Ohio State University. Got to add that in. And my team is responsible for a couple of areas, both on like a centrally scheduled classroom pool spaces, and then also an earnings unit. So I have a very interesting set of problems to solve in both of those areas. But we do, for the classroom pool or the centrally scheduled classrooms, we have around 310 of those, and we do both the technology and the space refresh. So where I like to focus is in that intersection of the design and tech of tech and space, but then also connecting that to best practices in teaching. And part of my role in the past was part of an academic technology team, so we were kind of interwoven with the learning tech people and doing a little bit more of that collaboration across groups. And so in this role, I'm doing a little bit more of that networking individually, but still trying to really maintain that connection to what's happening in teaching so that we're designing the right spaces. So yeah, that's kind of that lane.
I love that. All right. So I have a question for you. See, I told you I just go where this goes. So my meeting right before we're recording here, I serve on our academic technology committee, and we're our governance committee for the university, right? And someone brought up, it's actually just kicking up. Well, it's just kicking up. It's like we've had like 2 meetings. But the campus is consolidating and having governance. And it was brought up. I don't think anyone knows what academic technology is. So define it for us. When you say academic technology, what does that mean to you and or the Ohio State?
Okay, so we don't have a specific academic technology team anymore. I would say we're interwoven into IT at this point. But I consider academic technology to be those parts of tech that touch the academic mission. For us specifically, it's our classroom work. And of course, I think the space design connects to that too, but things like our learning management system, those kind of technologies that are specifically geared towards students or faculty, that's what I would consider academic technology. Where did you all land?
You know what? We kind of landed there. Well, what's interesting is we have people that I had never met. I mean, I'm the AV guy. I have all the AV teams. And before we announced our consolidation, we were just the general assignments. Now my scope with consolidation is everything, right? Yeah. And so there's someone on there, and he was going into like, well, no, it's the software that the telescopes use to, collect the data and then get that into the data. Someone going, never even thought that there's a software that the telescope uses to like going, okay, this is, I'm thinking Canvas. Right.
Yeah.
There. And I'm thinking, the projectors and stuff, and they went down this whole line.
They're going deep in the layers. Yeah. Because I would say, we have part of our team also includes endpoint. And so we're thinking about making sure that the software that the faculty need work in our classroom. So I think that's a component of it. But yeah, it's layered, very layered. For sure.
Absolutely. And I think the more we get down, that's actually one of the things I'm kind of looking forward to with consolidation is getting into kind of those specific use cases, right? And seeing how, there is no one size fits all. I would like to think there is, but yeah, I learned today about an hour ago, there is not, and how we kind of going to answer those things. So in your role then, how, when you have those challenges or you see like, as you're kind of growing into that, how do you kind of handle that, the specific use case when you're working on kind of pulling all this together? How do you handle the breadth of campus partners?
So we serve as a central team, and since we're focused on those centrally scheduled classrooms that basically report up to the provost, that is managed by us completely.
Yeah.
So we don't have a customer that we're asking, what should you be, other than general faculty, which we do try and do, like focus groups, and not just with faculty, but also we have a lot of student engagement, which I would love to talk about in a minute. But I think what we try to do as a central team is provide standards, maybe some templates, processes that our peers in colleges can leverage so that we can influence and kind of make that experience consistent across all classrooms. But I don't actually have a lot of in-depth, like college specific use case experience in trying to support those spaces, other than as I have also a community of practice on our campus where we bring all of our peers together from different colleges and kind of talk about what we're each doing in our areas, and what we're learning, a new thing that we might be trying in a classroom, and sharing it out so that we can all leverage each other's experience and knowledge. But yeah, I don't have to solve those use cases at this point, but I partner with others that do. Yeah.
Very lucky. No, but and it's interesting because you just described, I think, exactly how we were, right? Is kind of when you said creating that template. And I think that's where we've had this, kind of the challenge of how do you, when you're kind of, we call it the general assignments, or central, you're solving for mass, you're solving for bulk, and kind of creating that, how can we create this one kind of custom experience for everybody, regardless what it is, in all layers, whether it be the physical spaces or your LMSs or your online, or however that is how do you kind of create that consistency for everybody. And then, now how do you scale it and all of that? And that, I think that's the challenge. And I'm kind of interested in kind of learning where this. So you wanted to get to somewhere, and that was the student engagement. So let's go there. Talk a little bit about that. Here's the horrible thing a host does, and leave an open-ended question, but that's what I'm doing.
No. So I was going to share some of our work and some of the things that I lead are a lot of that user voice, like getting the instructor input and student input on the experience in our spaces. And that's not just the classrooms, but that ecosystem of space. So the informal spaces, that pre-function space, study spaces, all of that is what we're considering when we're asking them what they want out of their spaces. And we, and speaking of the Big Ten group, when one of the genesis of this whole effort was one of our learning tech Big Ten conference or meetings in Chicago, we were talking about how do we gather more student feedback for our spaces. And we developed a student design challenge. I don't know if you probably wouldn't have heard of it, but we had a competition on each of our campuses. I think 9 different universities contributed and chose a finalist from each university. And then those finalists went to kind of our national competition, and 3 teams were chosen. And they went to Herman Miller for a couple of days, got design input on their winning designs on their campus, and then a winner was chosen. They got to tweak their designs and actually just even touring. It's very much an experiential learning process, right? They got to be on site with professionals and get feedback and then have a really great portfolio piece at the end. But that was really the start of our work in engaging students to actually design our spaces. We, from that, have a course that we've co-taught for 5 years with the Department of Design, and bringing those interior design students into the conversation around informal spaces. So they have a whole term where they engage with vendors, from consultants that do design in higher ed, as well as like furniture vendors, accessibility, thinking about neurodiversity in the classroom. And so they do a lot of research, bring in their ideas from a campus perspective, building perspective, and then down to the space that they're designing. And it's just really amazing to get their key insights from their research, very, very much similar from term to term, where their students want natural light. They want soothing colors. They want what they call together yet alone. So spaces where they can kind of be individual, but they're still around other people, and kind of that Starbucks kind of feel, the what is it called, like residential, where you're comfy, but you're kind of in a coffee shop. So it was really great validation of things that we were saying we needed to do in our spaces, but it was coming from students. And so that kind of engagement is really what I enjoy about kind of bringing in the user voice. Yeah.
I absolutely love that. And by the way, if I titled episodes, it would be called Together Yet Alone, but I don't title episodes. But there you go. You got a subtitle within it. I absolutely love that because it's interesting. I think a lot of times we talk, and especially if I look, I'm going to speak for the AV teams, and they're just going to yell at me saying I'm wrong, but I'll speak for them anyway. And that is that when we say, oh, here, we're going to do these 10 classrooms, we're going to redo these and do this, they jump straight to technology. They jump straight to here's our standard and this and this. But to step back and go, okay, is that really what our students want? Is that really what is effective for them? So that the technology just remains a tool to accomplish a goal, not the thing we jump to at first, just because, oh, got our $1 million, doing 9 spaces and jumping to that. So I want to go definitely more into this. And like, so how do you first, let's just get this, start that engagement? Like, and if someone were to go, okay, I know we want to talk to students. I don't want to just send out a survey or look at the satisfaction rating at the end of the semester. How do you start that conversation? Start to get in. I think you said that you did it in coordination with a department or whatever. Kind of give that little bit of insight there and a little advice for people.
So I would say finding a partner, an instructor that you can partner with is huge because they are also willing to give those students kind of an experience and have them have hands-on work. So that was key. I think the Big Ten group was really, the catalyst for it. And that was all of us saying, we want to do this and let's kind of collectively make this happen. And that was a great partnership. And then the faculty member that I ended up partnering with was part of that. She had sent a team of students on behalf of OSU. So I think finding partners, whether it's faculty partners or like leadership partners that can kind of endorse and encourage that. And so we have an engagement right now with a local consulting group that wants to help facilitate a workshop with faculty. And I think what I was trying to point them towards was like, how can we really get a faculty or a leadership sponsor that can say, this is going to connect you, attend this thing, spend your time, because it's really hard to get faculty to jump in and spend an afternoon with you. But if they can see where it's going to go and the vision and how they're going to impact maybe a new classroom building or even a capital project on campus, that's going to get them interested. And so I think it's connecting to a vision or connecting to a goal, and that helps too.
I love that. I love that. So tell me, what was kind of, there has to be one or two shocking things or assumptions you went into it with that turned out to be wrong, that the students just said, no, this is what we want. Or were there any of those moments?
Well, okay. It wasn't our assumption, but I do think people assume that you need to just plaster your university with your school colors. And for us, scarlet and gray, I mean, that's not really scarlet doesn't create a very calming atmosphere. So it definitely, students told us over and over that they don't want scarlet and gray. Everywhere's screaming and in every corner. So I think it gave us a little bit more of an opportunity to share that with our branding folks and just make sure they know we can add elements like, we've done a lot around, Buckeye leaves and being able to add elements that have the same kind of OSU feel, but don't scream scarlet and gray. So yeah, that was one.
They get enough of that up and down high school.
Yeah, they do. Right? Totally. Or on a game day. Yeah.
Exactly. You just get a little bunch of Brutus heads everywhere. You're going to be fine. Right.
And it's good for the union, but I don't think it's necessarily the teaching conducive for learning. Right.
I absolutely. It's funny because we're doing this pilot of just 10 spaces, kind of putting in our new standard. And it was the exact same thing as we went through it. Now, we did not do necessarily the student feedback in the way you are, but we did do kind of a rethink of what if we're kind of this babyish blue and gold. Again, kind of stark colors if you're in a classroom, right? Yeah. So we thought, can we make them secondary? And let's go to those, well, I'll call it California gray. Everything is now California gray around here, and our beige. Like, can we go to those tones, and then maybe the table legs are yellow, or maybe the whatever and it's like, maybe we can accent with it and then tone it down. And it's interesting when you say it goes to exactly what you're saying about that Starbucks feels. All of a sudden, You created a home and not
Yeah.
a dorm room,
Right.
right?
Right. That's exactly what you're going for, is creating community, creating spaces where they're inviting to everyone and not just people that are into sports. I mean, I think there's a lot in that, and even in the course that we teach, having some of the consultants come in, or vendors come in and talk about neurodivergence, and how designing for a neurodivergent student is creating a space that's good for everyone. Because harsh lighting, nobody needs harsh lighting. You don't need to have a sensitivity to it to be able to appreciate that. So I think that we've learned a lot through having those engagements, and totally agree. Do you have an interior designer that you work with? Because that's one thing I really love about I have someone on my team specifically that helps me with classrooms.
Yeah. We actually, it was interesting because we actually have someone in facilities who does that.
Mm-hmm.
And when we engaged her with this, because we were doing the pilot, and our pilot was blow it all up, bring me crazy, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And let's rethink. And it's funny how excited she got, because she's like, oh, I'm just so used to, here's
Yeah.
the model, here's the steel case number of this chair, and here's the right.
Yeah.
And so we brought in Tangram, and we brought in steel case, and we worked with
Mm-hmm.
her, and we said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Because, like, as people know, from a technology point of view, my goal was 0 rack units. I don't want a piece of technology anywhere in that room. I mean, obviously, I know there has to be a projector or a display, right? Outside of that, I
Yes.
don't want any big old rack of anything anywhere. So I said, now that makes this entire space a blank canvas.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has to be a front. Everything can be a front. No one, everyone can face each other, away from each other. Kind of
Yeah.
like you're saying that, together yet alone.
Yeah.
We can go with that. And it was amazing to kind of see her go, well, what if we do this? What if we do this? And it was great. And working with our partners with Steelcase and Tangram and all that, and saying, well, I saw this thing at this school. And they'd bring up pictures and go, oh yeah, let's take this. And we're yet to find out. We're on quarters. We haven't even started semester yet. So people are going to love it or hate it. We're going to find out. But I actually think it's really cool.
It was 10 rooms, you said?
Yeah, it's just 10. And it's a whole, it's a subset. So we didn't do just, let's find a building. Like everyone goes, oh, we're going to do this floor, we're going to do that. We did 2 seminar rooms, 2 small classrooms, 2 lecture halls, and 2 auditoriums, and then the training room and a support room. So that makes the 10. But it was, and in 2 different disciplines, humanities and then a sciences.
Nice.
So it's really to see what are people going to like. And and there's going to be some, I mean, we might get some that say absolutely love this, and others are going to go, I absolutely hate this. Beautiful thing is, it's just furniture, right?
Are
If
you
you hate it,
surveying?
what was that?
Are you surveying?
We will survey. We have a pretty big hypercare plan that we're doing. I have someone on my team, and Adeline, her title is AVIT training coordinator. So her job is work with the teaching learning center, work directly with the faculty, be there kind of collecting data. Because also we recognize, outside of doing this upgrade, and not just the technology side, but they're going to walk in and see furniture. They're going to see layouts they've never seen. They're going to see connectivity to LMS, things that they've never done, and cloud tools. So we need to make sure it's effective. We can't just open up the doors and go, good luck, right?
That's so huge. Yeah.
I think a lot of it is to say, okay, how have you changed? And this is a story we're going to hope to tell, to then present to get more of these rooms, is how did you change over the course of the quarter? Was your way you taught different?
Right.
And was it effective? Right. I mean, we don't know. I mean, but yeah. And how we're going to do that is obviously getting it, because it's a controlled set of rooms, and we are doing an opt-in model.
Right.
So everybody who is in there is aware that their world's about to get rocked. Right. So, and again, and there's some that are really excited, and there's some where we had to go, we know you hate all this stuff, but will you please give it a chance for at least one of your classes?
Yeah.
Because you're the one, I mean, early adopters are easy. People who are big into this stuff, like, they're going to go and they're going to but I want the person who's just going to rip me apart. Right. And give me
all the things to do better. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But then I think that's how you then grow and you iterate, right? And especially in this kind of, to me, this changing time, right?
Yes,
Things are just so, like, it's weird to think that we're 4 or 5 years off of COVID. And that was a big change in our industry and change in the way teaching and learning works. Just, UC technology, Zooms, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But we're still in a major transformation, right? And I don't know where it's going. I mean, I don't even mean to bring up AI as a buzzword of the day. Let's go with AI. But who knows how all that's going to work and what that's going to mean.
Right.
And so how are you all handling all of that?
The AI, that word.
Sure. Anywhere. Let's go with that.
Well, first of all, I want to say I love that you're integrating design with the teaching practice and really thinking about that whole spectrum of the build and thinking about every part, because I think that's really important. We had a similar thing where we had faculty that were trying out new active learning spaces, and they were like in a cohort so that they could also share amongst themselves what's going on, and we got really great feedback. So I think that's so awesome. We are exploring or this term, our provost launched an initiative around AI fluency, and so there is basic AI knowledge being shared at the freshman level. We have a course that's taught to all freshmen, and so that it's integrated in that course. So they're having some general insight into, what is a prompt? How do you make a great prompt? What are the different types of AI? And so some base knowledge so that everybody kind of level set. And then the plan is to have each discipline kind of focus on the way that students would use AI in that specific area. And it's still early stages. I don't know what that looks like for our classrooms quite yet. We're still in the early stages, and I don't have a plan around that yet. So just to be honest in that way, I think it's iterative, so we'll figure it out. I feel like that's the key in these times, is just one step and figure out what's next and make it work each step of the way. That's kind of how we're approaching it. So
absolutely. And it's just so early too.
I know.
Right? I mean, and it's changing so fast. So how it, and how it works and how it integrates with our spaces and the teaching and learning and all of the, and even just the student experience. I mean, who knows? But it's fun. Like to me, this is the fun stuff.
Yeah, and what it means to people. It's kind of like what you were saying about academic technology, because there was a group that was asking us to help with an AI studio, and I said, well, what exactly is an AI studio? And it's kind of a computer lab. So I don't really know exactly. I think we're all figuring out what that looks like, and then how to meet the need, and also really understand what the goal is so that we can meet the need and be thinking of an innovative approach if we need to. But yeah, that's.
By the way, this could be a great thing for the Big Ten committee too, because I'm sure we're all doing different stuff as well. And we're probably all just dipping into different areas,
Yeah. Yeah. So, we had a brief conversation about it last year, and I think everybody was still in really early stages. So it would be great to bring that topic back up.
Yeah, that would be good. All right. Now I want to shift a little bit, because when I first asked you your role, you kind of talked about learning space, then you said, and then I have this other area, and I didn't. So what is that other little area or something?
So the other part of my team is an AV services team that is a cost recovery unit. So that group is focused on customers that we support in IT, and we're managing only the AV, not the space design or any of that space planning portion, which we do for pool. We're really just focused on AV support and refresh in classrooms and meeting spaces. And so what we're leveraging is the AV framework that we've developed for the classroom environment in pool. But our AV engineers have done an amazing job of creating this very modular AV framework that allows us to turn functionality on and off. And so it's very transferable to any type of classroom or meeting space. And so we're actually, I really love the opportunity in this because we're able to really create that consistent experience across meeting space and classroom, which I think is ideal. And then in some of those instances, we're actually impacting classrooms for some of those colleges as well. And so again, faculty member can go from one room to the next, know they're going to get the same tech and how to use it. And so that's really one of our big goals.
I love that. Now, I know on our committee, so this is horrible host stuff, talking about conversations that no one else listening was part of, but I'm going to do that, right? It's my show. I can do that. We've talked about kind of this chargeback model. This has been our meetings this last few times. So what is your quote unquote business model, and where have you landed?
Well, that actually just happened recently. It's been a few rounds of iteration, and we landed on basically a pay-as-you-go model. So in an ideal world, we would have a team that's funded to do this work, right? And even in the next version of an ideal world, we would have a team that is funded because of a set of rooms we know, a portfolio we know we have, and a staffing ratio that matches that portfolio. But we're going with what fits most people's budgets, which is, I'll pay you as I need you to come in and provide support. I'll pay you when I need a project. And so it's a little bit harder to staff for that, and to feel like you can have a consistent response time and that you can get through your queue as quickly as you'd like. But that's the model that we're going with now.
Yeah, I love that. So, do you have a certain set? And again, I'm going to overgeneralize because I think like Central, like we don't necessarily have I'm going to call it a budget per space or whatever. And I don't think most, it's like, here, you have you're Central, you've got these, and here's your head count, and you can come beg for more head count if you need some, and this, and you're expected to handle this. But yet, when you do an outside, let's say, another department brings you in and says, hey, will you help us with these spaces? It's natural. Yeah, we're going to bill you for that. We'll bring them in, we'll manage the project for you, get an integrator, whatever. So are you doing an actual charge model to the provost, for example, for space? Or are you set with just you're expected to handle these 300, anything other? How does that looking from when you put your budgets together or when you do that charge?
Well, they are separate. So we have that team that supports the central pool of classrooms is a team that's funded to do that. And so that's huge. I mean, that allows us to really focus on the work. Our refresh plans are really effective. We were able to develop this standard. We have a really scalable model for support, even down to our tier 1 being managed with a large team of students. And we have a training and maintenance program that we have implemented for that. So we've been able to really manage that whole process and make it pretty efficient over the years, because we don't have to charge. Like we're just able to keep doing that kind of service improvement. And so I think it's just more challenging with the earnings unit side. I'm not charging back the provost other than this funded piece, but yes, we are charging back the other colleges as needed.
Yeah, so that kind of comes in with your like, hey, this is our annual budget, this is our expectation, et cetera, and then it's a plus beyond that. So which I think is probably pretty standard with most. Yeah, that makes sense. So
yeah.
So now a question, because you have these kind of two verticals. Two-part question for you then. What is it what is it that the AV people can learn from the space design people, and then the space design people can learn from the AV people-ish? And that strategy of space versus the technology, and the technology versus.
So, okay, well, my team is more matrixed. So I have AV people that kind of bounce back between teams as needed, but mostly because they have specific skill sets and that kind of thing. But what I think we do the designs together. So I think that there is a lot of learning on both sides from our interior designer, kind of knowing what considerations from sight lines to, I don't know, she's just really, she already had an education background, but I think that we've been able to really weave that process together so that we know how to plan in conjunction. And then we're really we also have a governance group, classroom readiness committee, where we're trying to bring in like the registrar and planning architectural real estate and our other partners. And in that group, we do make decisions about those spaces together. And then we're kind of the executors of the plan. So I think it works really well because we do have all of those different pieces and parts here, even just down to hearing what's happening in different classrooms from an endpoint perspective might be, it means we can roll it out to all of our classrooms at once, or like they hear from tier 1 and then they can roll out a solution. So I think we've got a really nice flow going on.
I love that because I think that to me, that is so important. And often we don't, I'll overgeneralize for the AV teams. It's very easy to get, more technical people are very easy to get siloed. We love to get siloed into our thing, especially the more technical you are. But as you kind of move up, and especially as you move into management, you move into strategy like you're at, those silos can't exist, right? For people to be successful, you have to be able to work across it. So
here's a good example. I actually would love to add to that. So when we were redesigning our Crestron panels, I had our lead engineer work with a UX designer on our marketing team, and again with instructors. And we had a whole iterative process where we went back and forth because tech people aren't designers, and we love Brian, but he's not a designer. He'll be the first to admit. And so I think it was a little out of the box to say we're going to bring in another team, and it's going to take longer, and you're going to have to work with someone else on this and think about it a little bit differently. But I think we have a really, really strong UI as a result of that. So I think, bringing in other teams, not just our interior designer, but other people to kind of like bolster up the great work they're doing and make it even more like accessible and easy to use.
Yep. I love that. In fact, I love it because we did the same. And but it's true, because it's funny because we call our digital foundry, which is really our UX UI people. And they're the ones that do like the app, right? The school app. They're the ones who understand customer journey, right? They understand and the accessibility and all that, and too often, especially if you're using, I'll say, one of the Trons, everything comes with great templates and how easy it is to go, here, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take that box and I'm going to turn it into my school colors, going back to school colors, and I'm going to take this, and it's like, well, is that actually the most effective way for someone to engage with our systems, right? Just because the classroom can do it doesn't mean there needs to be a button there, and it definitely doesn't need 85 buttons on the front screen, right? And it's like, and I have seen that before in person.
I have too.
And so I think then being able to kind of guide the user experience is just as important, and bringing in the UX UI people, because they know that, right? Now, are they going to know how to do the programming behind the scenes? No, that's what your team's for.
Right.
But they can work the hooks in. They can help you with the things that do the wireframes and do the customer and bring in the faculty to go, hey, I'm not going to tell you how to use it. Can you figure this out on your own? Right.
Yeah.
It's like one of the things I always say is, there's a reason an iPhone doesn't come with a user manual.
Right.
It's intuitive, right?
Is.
And we do that same thing with our classroom experience.
Yes.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So wow, you got me. This is good. This is good stuff. So now, one of the things that so we're gonna have to kind of transition. So we transition into a little rapid round here. Just fun questions, either just to get to know you. And as I say, there is no right or wrong answer, unless I have an opinion of my own and disagree with you. Then in which case you might have a wrong answer. All right.
So my father-in-law. Okay.
Yeah, everybody gets the same first question.
Okay.
Higher ed is about traditions. So what is your favorite college tradition? And you can't say dot the I. No, just kidding.
No. Okay. I would say, actually, I love the college tours. I love seeing those happening on campus and seeing those scared little faces. I mean, it's just adorable. But also, I mean, in conjunction with that, like that return to fall, obviously summer things kind of slow down a bit and we're busy, but campus is so empty, and it's really nice for a while, but it's so nice to see all the students come back and see some of them like jumping into that journey.
Yeah. See, that's a top answer. That is one of the.
It is. It's like it's why we are. I mean, it's one of the things of the perks of higher ed is like being in school still a little bit.
Yeah, and that I'll tell you, it's one of the things I miss, because now my role really is mostly all remote. I go to campus.
Oh no!
Once every few months.
Yeah.
In fact, I think even though I'm going to be on every day next week, just about. But I think the last time I was there, before that was like 3.5 months, and I was like, wow, it's crazy. But you miss that, and then just be able to walk the campus and go, oh yeah, that's why we do this. Not to sit on Zoom meetings all day. It's actually to do this.
And we are really close. Our building is really close to the SHU. And so it's also really cool to hear the band practicing.
So I did miss that when I was when I was at USC. That was one of the things that, so I was a student at SC. I know I'm at the rival now, but I was as a student, I was a knight, which was kind of like the official host of the university. I could do the backwards walk, especially when I give people tours, walk backwards, all the little info and all the little, fill in the gaps between this building, give the little, and I can't, now at UCLA, I have to learn all this. Like, I give a horrible college tour now because I'm like, these are the steps, and this is in that movie, and it's like I
You
don't
didn't
know.
experience it as yeah.
So I can still walk backwards though very well, and I can do the lefts and rights while walking backwards. So that's a positive. All right.
Still.
Now, because so you're in Columbus, and I actually spent 5 years in Columbus. There's the fun fact for people. I miss my WG grinders. I do. Hopefully, it's still around. I don't know if are the grinders still around.
I mean,
shop?
I don't know. That's not my favorite type of food. So yeah.
Okay, so when I come back to visit, when UCLA is playing the Ohio State University, where are we going? Where are we eating? Where are we drinking? What are we doing?
Well, if the team takes you out, they're going to take you to the varsity club because that's like a few steps away from our office. It's total campus sports bar. I mean, it's cute, but that's not my favorite place to go. I would definitely try out one of the rooftop bars to start because I think that it's nice to see the Columbus skyline now. And I am more of a local foodie, and so there are a few locally owned restaurants that I like to go to. One of them is in Victorian Village. It's a short north area, and it's called Bossi Italia. So we definitely would try and hit a small place like that with a great patio. And then my favorite place to drink would be this like hipster spot that's also near campus, but it's called the Bottle Shop. And they have it's a combo of a little divey bar with really great drinks and then a beer and wine store attached to it. So you can actually buy a bottle of wine. They have little wooden picnic tables out front. So it's just really like a fun little spot to go. Yeah.
All right. I like that. Good place I had because I would say, what was the bar when I lived there? And this was a while. Just so you know, this was a long time ago. This was like 95 to.
Well, yeah.
But,
been here that long.
The library, I think, was the bar that was on High Street. Is it still there?
That's still there. Yeah. I've never stepped foot in that, but yeah, I didn't go to Ohio State, so yeah.
Yeah, that, and then I will say, here's a hill I will die on. Donato's Pizza is horrible.
There are some that love Donato's. I think Donato's is okay, but I prefer Granddad's Pizza. I'll give a little plug for Granddad's. Yeah.
All right. I love it. All right. So now here we go. We're gonna get going fast. We're gonna play this little game of hot takes only. Simple yes, no questions or whatever 1 word, 2 word answer. All right. Is it acceptable to eat pizza with a knife and fork?
Yes.
Okay. You kind of fold it right. See, now here's the thing: the Chicago style pizza people are gonna say yes, but it's the New Yorkers, fold it into a. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Should daylight savings be abolished?
Yes.
Yes.
For sure.
And we've only voted on it like a billion
times.
I know.
But
it doesn't happen.
Do it. Somebody say do it.
Yeah. Okay. Do you warn / apologize to the person behind you when you put your seat back in an airplane?
No.
Just do it.
Yeah, everybody's doing it. Why would you need to apologize?
All right, staying on a plane. Should you clap when the plane lands?
No, I don't think so.
Remember, we used to do that.
I mean, I'm like just breathing a sigh of relief, but yeah.
Yeah.
That used to happen?
It used to happen. I remember back when I was a kid, it was like you would be, all right. So I mean, okay. I did. All right. Let's go. Let's see. Do you tip on self-service machines?
Yes.
See, that's. I know. I do too. But it's like, why?
I do. I don't know if I want to admit this, but like 10%, because I feel like I should tip, but it's not a 20% tip. So I definitely adjust according to.
Yeah.
But I feel like.
Yeah. So for me, I'm like so. I was raised by a single mom, mostly, and she was a waitress. So we were always big on so I'm a huge tipper in general.
Yeah.
And so I just feel guilty if I don't.
Yeah. Like I know. I waited tables too. My kids waited tables. So yes.
Okay.
I think tipping is necessary.
All right. Is cereal a soup?
No.
I mean, it's liquid,
right? It's not hot. I mean, I guess gazpacho isn't either, but no, it has milk.
Okay. All right.
I'm saying no.
Okay, I think that is correct answer. But it does throw people off. You have to think about that one for a minute, don't you? Because it has
I'm
the
trying to think
quality.
like who would think that, but yeah,
I've,
no.
yeah, yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Should people over 11 years of age trick or treat?
Oh, you've got me on this one because I am a stickler on the trick or treat. If they come to my house and they're not dressed up, no. And I do think when they come in like their football jersey, no. So I don't have an age limit, but they need to come dressed up and they need to look like they put some effort in. But yeah,
Okay.
that was not a one-word answer.
I like that. See, because that was a hot take. You had a hot take on that one. All right. Um, what? How early, on time, or late is on time to a meeting?
Oh, I'm kind of usually late. So I have to say, I mean, on time is the time, but I'm usually running late because it is back to back. Like post COVID, there is no little travel time anymore. So I think that makes it kind of hard for me because I like to chat. So
All
yeah.
right.
Mhm.
I like that one. Just a couple more.
Okay.
Ever appropriate to reply all just to say thanks?
No, I don't think so.
You know what happens though, and then you get hundreds of emails, and it's thanks. Oh, thanks you
Oh,
too.
yeah, no,
Oh,
no,
yes, that's my pet peeve.
unnecessary.
That's
Yeah.
my total pet peeve. And then you're the one that doesn't reply, and
Yeah.
everyone, then you get the Slack message. Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay.
I'm
Well, I
just seeing you
was.
another email. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. All right. Um, we'll go a little controversial. Do college degrees still matter?
I think they do. Hmm.
See,
And
good.
yeah, because I think there's something about the perseverance and digging in and doing it. But I do think that building your own kind of experience is also legitimate. But I think the college experience and degree still matters.
All right. And last one, VR in the classroom, hype or not hype?
I think where it is actually embedded in the curriculum in a meaningful way, sure.
Great. Yep. Good answer. Because there are disciplines where I
Yeah,
think it
it
makes
makes
sense.
sense. Yeah.
Yep. All right. I like that. See, those were good. I got a couple of really good hot takes. I like the trick or treat, and that one's good. There we go. All right. Very, very last thing. And now this is how I end it all. And this is
Mhm.
as if you had your own show. So you get 1 minute. It can be about anything you want, any topic, 1 minute, 1 minute monologue, and your time starts now.
Okay, so the topic I would choose is not related to AV, no surprise there. Um, I'm mostly interested in conversations that dig into like work life and home life balance, um, life lessons, what makes people happy. And so, Joe, my question for you is what is a great weekend day? What does it look like for you? Something that's recharging.
Oh, well, see, that's a tough one
Mhm.
because I am a workaholic. And so, like, I know. And so working is my joy, but I will say, so I also live on a private lake. So I have my boat and I do stare at my boat
Okay.
way too much and I need to get out. So just getting there. And if I can do a twofer, because our other
Mhm.
weekend home is on a golf course. So if I can get a round of golf
Okay.
and a boat ride in the same day, leave from one to the other, that is an ultimate just
That
chill.
is pretty ideal.
Because and now you want to see how much of a workaholic I am, though. I have Wi-Fi on my boat, so I can work on my boat.
Yeah, I think some
So
adjustments need to be made.
yeah,
Yeah, but that's not actually serenity. But I get it. That if that feeds you, that's what it is. Makes you happy.
yeah. So and then for you, what is your ultimate weekend chill?
It would be coffee on the porch, like a good walk with the dog, like maybe yoga class or a run, making some great meal at home, going out for a glass of wine and that kind of a thing. It's definitely more chill. I don't look at the computer. So yeah, it's more recharging, a little bit of introvert, a little bit of social time, but
All right, I like that. See, that is one thing that was like I wish it was my goal for this year because like we always do the goal, and that was mine is like I'm going to turn off for a day. I mean, I don't. I don't. And it's like, I just come to the conclusion that's just me.
It's a practice. It's a practice.
Yeah. Yeah. Someday I'll retire, but then I probably won't. All right. Last and most important question. How can people get a hold of you and connect with you should they want to?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, Stephanie Orr, ORR, and you can reach me at my OSU email, orr.145@osu.edu.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. This was a wonderful conversation. I know that everyone's getting a lot of this. I love the perspective you bring. And like I'd mentioned to you offline, is like, these are the things that our people need to hear, and we grow better and grow in our careers when we actually can work and understand those who are adjacent to us. So everybody, I do hopefully you enjoyed this episode. You can find me at Josiah Way on all the socials. Follow at HiredAV on all the socials, and of course, go join Hedma_org on all of the socials. And as always, none of the opinions expressed here are representative of any of our organizations, institutions, sponsors, or anyone who wants to sue us. Yeah, I mean, if you want to sue us, it has nothing to do with you. Okay, and besides that, if you didn't like these opinions, there may be better ones next time. We'll see everybody.